Hey guys, so for those who don't know me, my name is Sheila. I'm the owner of Cheilitas Chamoy. You're obviously here today for the cheese man. I know this video is going to come as a surprise for a lot of you because I've learned as I've matured in life not to put my problems on social media. I usually keep my personal business to myself and I only share the fun side of me because I'm all about the desmadre life, but whenever like a problem arises, I try to handle it as private as I can. But this is something that has been ongoing for a while, and because of the way things have gone down, I feel that God has finally gave me the opportunity to speak about this. And I want to thank the people that have been supportive through this because it hasn't been easy for me to talk about, and especially to relive the frustration. Before I get started, I do want to talk a little bit about why I started this business. As some of you guys know that know me from like school and all that stuff, you guys know that for the most part, my dad was in prison for most of my young adult life. And because of this, my mom was always working. And you guys know I was always like my mom's like rebel child or whatever. But as I got older and as I had my daughter, because you guys know I had her when I was really young, I learned to appreciate life a lot more and to give my life more purpose. Because obviously I didn't grow up having people that I could look up to because I really didn't have any positive like role models. But anyway, life was so messed up for me that oftentimes I'd be daydreaming like about a better life. And when I had my child, it was imperative for me to make sure that I didn't put my daughter through the same things. I've always done like my very best to do things the right way, even though I was taught different. And but no matter like how you're brought up, you have the power to change your life. Fast forward to 2016, I go on vacation to visit my family in Mexico, and my family introduced me to these flavored chamoy dips because every time, obviously if you're gonna go to Mexico, you're gonna get drunk. And at the time, like when I tried it, I never thought about like, oh, I'm gonna take this to the US and start selling it. I was just there to enjoy my time, and I actually really like the stuff, but again, I just never thought about selling it. By the next year, because I always thought of it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to make something similar, and I did. And then in 2018, one of my coworkers, his name is Eric. Shout out to Eric. He always told me, and he always put it in my head that we are very like valuable as that we're all valuable human beings and that we're capable of doing so much more than just working a 9 to 5. And because Eric had a lot of like he had multiple streams of income, and I always admired that from him, and I was always like, you know what, I have to figure out a way to make extra money because he's right. Like I shouldn't just depend on my 9 to 5. And so he would always have me think about ways for me to make money because at that time, I wanted to help my mom get out of working these crazy hours, right? My mom has, as you guys, the ones who know me, you guys know that my mom has always been in the catering business, or she's always, she's just, for me, the best cook. And at the time, I wanted to invest in a food truck or in a little restaurant, but I didn't have the means to start a business, and I also didn't have a business plan. So Eric always made me think like, how can you make extra money to to make this dream come true? And I always thought about it, and then finally I was like, oh, you know what? I was like, I can start selling these chamoy dips that I've been trying every time that I go to Mexico. I was like, I know how I'm gonna do it, but at the time I was still like pretty close-minded. I didn't really believe in myself like that. It took a while for me to actually act on the idea. So I remember Mother's Day 2018. I was at my suegra's house, and at the time, Christian and I were not together, but Betty would always invite me over, and I'd go because I had it like that. And I remember she tried my stuff, and she was like, um, you should sell this. And then I was like, oh, like I want to, but I'm too shy. And she was like, oh, She said, pues si tú no quieres, like, yo te lo vendo, right? She was like, if you don't do it, I'll sell it for you. And I was like, whatever, like, we just left it off and we left it at that. And then, but the idea was still in my head. And I remember my dad went to visit my grandma in July of 2018. And I remember that when my dad was over there, I told him, like, hey, Dad, can you please bring me X, Y, and Z? Because I want to, I just want it, you know? And he already kind of knew that I wanted it for my micheladas and stuff. But, and at the time, I told him, like, I want to start selling it, but I still don't know how. And of course, you know, my dad always supported me. And so when he came back, the last time that I saw my dad alive, he gave me the things, right? And again, I did not think about selling it because it takes a while for you to actually build up the courage to do something. But then by August, Betty's health got really bad. And I remember during those 2 months, I remember we were just like, oh, you know, we kind of knew that she was not going to get better. So we're just like, she might, you know, this might be the time where we have to like get ready for her to leave us, you know? And so her health got worse. And unfortunately by October, she passes away. And for me, that was like the first big loss of my life. You know, Betty, at the time, she had already been in my life for like a decade. So for me, she was a second mother, and I never imagined to lose her, honestly. I don't think any of us did. So when Betty passes away, I think we had already like done her services. We had just finished everything, you know, the novenario and all that stuff. And I remember we were at one of Christian's aunt's house, and I get the phone call that, you know, my dad had been shot. So, and that unfortunately he didn't make it. And that was like not even a month after Betty had passed away. And of course, you guys just can just imagine like how that made me feel. I had to drop everything and go to Mexico to take care of everything. And I remember I texted my boss and I was like, hey, you know, they just killed my dad. Like, I have to go. I'm sorry. I know I missed work when Becky passed away, but this time, like, I really have to go, and I don't know when I'm going to be back. Excuse me. If you have to hire somebody else, like, I understand, but please let me know. And he was just like, oh, you know, go ahead. Like, let me know if you need anything. And I obviously left. I had to go to Rosarito. And if you guys remember, we had the first service in Rosarito, and then I had to take my dad to Mexico City to bury him there, right? Because I had made the decision to take him back to my grandma. But because of all of this, I had to get, I needed money, and I had to pull out a loan meanwhile. And I know I did have a lot of support from people, and thank you guys again for that time. For being there for me and my brothers during that time. So anyway, so my dad dies on a Sunday. By Friday he's buried, and by Saturday I'm back in California because I was like, I have to go back to work. Like, I still hadn't processed everything that I had been through, right? And I didn't even tell my boss, like, hey, by the way, I'm back. I'll be back on Monday. I just decided to pull up to work, and to my surprise, there was like somebody sitting on my desk, and I was like, hey, like, you know, like, what are you doing here? And I was obviously, at that point, I kind of knew, like, I think this is my replacement. And my coworker, she was there trying to, like, you know, be like, oh my gosh, Sheila, like, I'm so sorry, like, I know you were gonna come back. And again, she was trying to, like, you know, offer her condolences and stuff. But I was like, girl, like, I need my job, like, and so I called my boss, and I was like, hey, I was like, I'm here, and there's somebody on my desk. And he was like, oh, Sheila, like, I didn't know you were gonna come back. And I'm like, oh, like, you're right. And my head was just not all there. And he was like, I'm sorry, but I don't think I could give you your job back. And at that point, I was like, what do you mean, like, you can't give me my job back? Like, you just hired her, you know? But again, I was just like, whatever. Like, I was so exhausted. I didn't want to argue, so I just walked away. And I was like, something good has to come out of this. I know that this is not where my story ends. And even though at the time I was like still working with different attorneys on the side, I knew that I had to start this business. Why? Because obviously after my dad passed away, my dad wasn't married to my mom. They weren't together anymore. So I was the person to take care of everything that he had to take care of. I'm sorry, everything that belonged to him. And it wasn't like, obviously he didn't leave like a huge inheritance or whatever, but it was, the house in Rosarito. My dad and I were also buying another property in Tijuana because he wanted, my dad had plans for his life too. And I was, of course, always supporting him. And then, of course, I had the loan that I had to pay off. So I couldn't just, plus my bills. So I couldn't just give up. I still had to find a solid 9 to 5 meanwhile. And anyway, so during this time, of course, I'm so disappointed. I was obviously like, man, like, how can someone make another person feel like shit after they've been through the worst possible thing in their life, And that's why when I finally started Cheilitas, the money that I was making, I was actually saving it so that I could fix the house in Rosarito. And as you guys saw this weekend, I was finally able to build a really nice functional kitchen in our house. And because obviously ever since starting this business, I've been just focused on fulfilling the promises that I made to my dad before, well, not even before, but just like, during this whole time. Like, I've always been like, I'm gonna finish the house that he worked so hard for, so I have to do whatever it takes. And that's why I started this business. But obviously I wasn't going to tell people like, hey, support my business, because I got like so many things I got to take care of. So I was able to find a new job right away. I feel like I've always been pretty good at my paralegal job, that I was able to find a job right away. And honestly, when I found that job, I was so happy because my boss was just so amazing, and it was just like girls in the office. And I felt at home, but at the same time I had like trust issues, because I was like, in this life we're so replaceable. And even though she was so good to me, I would still tell her, like, I was so guarded for a very long time. I remember she used to be like, Sheila, like, I know you have a good heart, but you're so hard, And I was like, no, girl, like, I'm just going through things. And I'm usually like very outgoing and stuff, but I'm going through things. So anyway, I was doing so good right there. And because obviously for me, like, I've always liked to help people. I've always found joy in helping people. And in that office in particular, they focused on immigrant cases for the LGBT community and for immigrant children. And those were the things that I was taking care of. And for me, it wasn't just a job. Like, it was like the most amazing thing that I could have ever done. I was just so happy to be able to have positive connections with the clients, and it was so hard for me to leave. But when obviously I started selling chamoy, I had to go. And well, actually I didn't have to go. It was when COVID hit that the courts closed, and I didn't quit like because I wanted to. I just stopped going to work because of what happened with COVID. Anyway, before COVID, a year before, I remember this was like in April of 2019, May. And I was hanging out with my best friends, and they've always been so supportive. I've been so lucky to have good people in my life who always push me to do things that are out of my comfort zone. And I was at Barbara's house, and I was with Bernadette and Jesse. Shout out to them, because they've always been the ones to cheer me on during this whole process, right? And I don't know if you guys remember, but I had posted on Instagram, like, who wants to try some tamarindo chamoy? And everybody was like, yes. And I was like, okay, well, whoever voted yes, I'm going to put you guys in in a raffle, and I'm gonna choose 3 winners. And so the day of the raffle came, I chose 3 winners, and then I was like, and for whoever wants to buy, whoever wants to try it, I'm gonna sell it for this much on this days, and I have these flavors, so hit me up, you know. And so I was really busy. I wasn't sleeping. Life was so hectic when I started to sell chamoy, because I was still doing my 9 to 5, and then I still had to go home and make chamoy and prep orders. And at the time, my mom still wasn't helping me. It wasn't until September that I was able to get a hold of the twins' mom. Shout out to Marbella. She's always been super supportive of Cheilitas Chamoy, and the twins too. The whole family has always been so supportive. And I remember she gave chamoy to the twins, and she was like, hey, she's like, the twins really liked your chamoy. She's like, they want to know if you can send them some. And I was like, oh my God, like, yes, you know? So that was the first influencer family that I worked with. And honestly, they were the only influencers that I cared to have them try my chamoy, because they're honestly the only people that I've kept up with, because my life has always been so busy, and they've always been the ones that I prefer to watch the most, because I feel like they're the most relatable to me. And because, you know, I feel like they have the same vibes as me, I guess you can say. And anyway, so they were the first ones to promote my stuff, and after they promoted us, like, things just went on another level. And this is when my mom got involved, and she was helping me, and we were all just still working our day job, and then going and making chamoy and all this crazy stuff, because God knows we had to adapt pretty quick, you know. To be honest, I had no idea that after the twins were going to promote me, that I was going to get the attention of other influencers. I really had no idea. For some reason, I just thought that you had to like go through like an agency or something to get a hold of these people. I always just, you know, as you guys have seen, the twins always support small businesses, and they've always been very helpful to their community. So I feel like I just got really blessed to be able to work with them. And so then I got the attention of other influencers, and you could just imagine things just started, like, you know, happening super fast for me. And, you know, I was just, at that point, I was just so thankful to God, and obviously to my angels, because I was like, man, like, my business is doing pretty good, and I never expected it to happen that way. I was more than willing to take my time with everything to make sure that I, you know, took it step by step, but it just happened the way it was supposed to. And for me, my business saved my life, because God knows I was going through a lot of things, and it just kept me so busy that I didn't even have time to think, to feel. And I know that in life we should always pay attention to our emotions, but at the time, like, I felt like I just couldn't. I had to just focus on working, because if not, I was just gonna fall into this deep depression. I was always thinking, before I started my business, I was always thinking about my dad, and like, who was the person that took his life. I was so angry. I was always thinking about how he felt during like his last moments. Like, everything would just always get to me. So for me, like, my business saved my life. Anyway, this is where the devil wears Prada comes in. I remember that in early 2020, I remember that Amanda had placed an order with us, and I know this because she had tagged us. And if you guys know who she is, you guys know she talks like a certain way. I remember she was like, yo no sé nada de chamoy, pero esto es una delicia. And I was kind of like, who is this girl? Like, why does she talk like that? Like, I was intrigued, right? Because a lot of you just post my stuff, but she was actually like talking about it, kind of like influencer status. And I was like, I want to know who she is. So I clicked on her page, and I was like, this is the owner of Pica Pica. And I was like, at that time, I had actually tried her candies, right? And I had tried her candies, and as for me, the batch that I got was pretty spicy, but I'm like, the candies are good, you know. It just depends on your style, I guess. And I remember I gave some to my daughter, and she really liked the nerd ropes and stuff. But while I was gathering like my evidence about this, I did notice that she didn't place just one order. She placed like multiple. It was at least like 4. And she tagged us like at least twice. And I remember, saying thank you. At the time, I should have, been like, hey, like, let me send you more stuff or something. Because that's usually what I do. If you're like my business friend, you know that I always try to like send you stuff, just because that's my way of showing like my friendship to the brands that support me. Anyway, I feel like I should have sent her something, but I just was so busy. Like, I did not think of anything. At that point, I wasn't even afraid of people like coming out with chamoy, because I knew people were going to start making chamoy, but I didn't think much of anything, honestly. I never thought that things were going to get the way they were. So then I remember by August of 2020, Pika Pika comes out with their original chamoy. I remember during this time, my uncle had passed away, and I remember I had also gotten surgery. So I was out of work for like at least a month. And, but my team was still, handling shit. And I remember when they first came out with the chamoy, it really didn't bother me. Because at that point everybody had came out with chamoy. But I was curious to know how it was going to play out, because she had a bigger platform than I had, and we were still growing. We had already worked with a lot of popular influencers, but still, like, our brand was still not pretty well known. It was just something that people were still like trying to discover. And at the time, because so many other people were coming out with chamoy, other chamoy brands were sending stuff to other influencers, and that's normal. Like, for me, the sun shines for everybody, so there's no reason for me to be like, oh my god, like that person got to that person first, like whatever, because there's enough room for all of us. That's how I see it. So I was so busy. We were so busy at that time. And I remember by then I had already invested like in a warehouse, because you guys know we started Cheilitas like in my mom's living room and in our little kitchen. And by then I had invested in a warehouse. We had the shop. At first I got the shop because I needed the space, because we were in an apartment. If you guys remember, you guys used to pick up from the back gate. And anyway, so for me, it didn't bother me that people were coming out with chamoy. I would only say something to the people that would steal my logo, because it would bother me a lot that people would steal my logo. And if you own a business, you know what I'm talking about. You always get upset when people try to steal your logos or your pictures and stuff. And that was the only time that I would go after people and be like, hey, like, change your stuff, because if not, I could take legal action. And that was only one person that I was like, you better change your stuff right now. If not, I'm gonna, But everybody else, whenever they like copy my logo, I reach out to them and I tell them like, hey, your logo is very similar to mine. I own the rights to it. Please change it, because if not, you're like in violation of trademark law. So by then, in December of 2020, we decided to get into contract with an influencer who was already supporting us from the start. This influencer also took us to another level, and I've been honestly lucky to have these people support my brand. These are people who are so genuine, and for me, honestly, I just want people who like my stuff to promote it. Like, I don't want you to lie about it if you don't like it, And that's why my circle of influencers has been really limited, I guess you can say. But anyway, so we get into contract, and what is it saying? So anyway, so this influencer really liked our chamoy, and in a way preferred our chamoy, but Pica Pica was also working with them, and she always worked with them too, but she was just promoting their candies. And I guess they wanted her to promote their chamoy too, and I had no problem for her to promote their chamoy. She just chose not to, and that has nothing to do with me. I never said like, no, don't, no, if you're gonna work with me, you can't work with them. Like, because again, for me, the sun shines for everybody. And plus, during that time, I don't know if Pika Pika just had one chamoy or if they had already came out with different ones. I think they had already came out with different ones. And as you guys know, if you guys have been paying attention to both brands, our flavors are more on the natural fruit side, and they have a lot of fun flavors. They have like the Gushers, they have the Sour Patch Watermelon, they have the pickle one. Like, they have a lot of fun flavors. So I felt like we could have both been able to share our stuff in the influencer world, right? But for Amanda, I don't think that was enough, because I think that she must have maybe taken it the wrong way when this person didn't want to promote their stuff. So, and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if she thought that I had gotten in the way of that, but still, like, but regardless, she already had like a bunch of influencers. So why would it bother you if this one person is working with me? At the time, I was still pretty small. Like, we didn't even have like, I think we probably had like what, 50,000 followers on our Instagram. I don't remember, or no, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. But anyway, that was that. I didn't think anything of it, because during that time, I don't think anybody was in contract yet. So in January 2021, through a mutual friend, I met an influencer who hangs out with, like, I guess the top influencers. And for the record, I never asked my friend to bring him along. I've never been the type of person that just because, oh, someone is something, I'm gonna go and I want to get close to you. Like, that's never been me. If you guys know me, you guys know my circle of friends is very, very small, and I don't need to be all over the place, you know. Anyway, I remember that night, like, we had so much fun. If I'm not mistaken, he must have either tagged me or reposted a post where I was in the story, and I'm pretty sure Amanda saw this. I'm pretty sure it bothered her, because as you guys know, she's always wanted to be an influencer. She's always wanted to be part of that friend group, and I'm pretty sure she saw me as a threat. I'm pretty sure she was like, oh, if she starts hanging out with him, she's gonna start hanging out with the rest of them. But little did she know that that's not who I am. Anyway, after that, like I said, I'm sure she was upset, but during that time, I didn't think of it. I really did not think anything of it. During the same time that I had hung out with this influencer, we were in the process of working with another influencer that had been supporting us. We were in the process of getting into contract with them, and because they expressed that they wanted to work with us still, so we were like, of course, like, if you want to work with us, like, for sure, like, we are more than happy to have you in our team and to have you supporting our brand. And it took us a while for us to get a response, and usually I thought it was kind of weird, because when it came down to the first influencer, things were pretty fast. And I remember we got in contact with them, and they were like, can the management was like, can we get it on call? And we were like, sure. And they were like, oh, so in regards to this person's contract, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to fulfill this contract. Why? Because, well, not fulfill, we had now started a contract. So we're not going to be able to move forward with the contract because I remember they said due to legal reasons, this influencer is not going to be able to work with you guys. And at first we were like, okay, fine. And they offered another influencer. And again, at the time, we didn't think anything of it. But because the only thing that I thought it was kind of weird was like, okay, but last month you guys said that we could work with this person. Not only that, you guys offered 2 other people to work with us. And then we were like, can those other 2 people still work with us? And they were like, no. And I was honestly like confused. And I guess it was my fault for not taking the opportunity right away. But because I always wanted to take things slow with people, with other influencers, I guess because I didn't jump onto the opportunity right away, this is when I guess it gets good, right? So this is during the same month that I hung out with this influencer. And it's so weird to me that after I hung out with this influencer, about like 2 weeks later or so, that's when we get the phone call that they're not able to work with us. And again, because I didn't think anything of it, that's when it comes out that Pika Pika had made these influencers sign contracts where they were not allowed to work with other chamoy brands. And at that point, I was kind of like, girl, like, you know I exist. Why would you do something like that? And I was confused. I was upset. I was disappointed. I was obviously like, wow, like, I can't believe that this brand would do something like that. So, of course, they're asking for full exclusivity. And I was honestly like, so, like, again, so confused, upset, because she was, you know, like, why would you support me? Why would you go out of your way to buy my product, say you don't know nothing about chamoy, and then still go um you know, make your chamoy, which I had no problem about, but then to go and block our opportunities to work with other influencers? Why? Like, why would you do that? And for a very long time, like, I wanted to reach out to her myself and be like, why would you do that? Like, why would you go? And especially because I was actually, you know, when I had this, when she had first tagged me, I was following her, so I had the opportunity to ask her, right? But I was like, I'm not gonna go and you know, humiliate myself, you know, in front of this person and be like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that to me or to my brand? Like, we've never done anything to you, so why would you go out of your way to block this for us? Like, girl, like, if I want, I could have came out with candies too, and but I didn't. Like, if you guys have noticed, my candies and her candies are so different. Like, mine are chamoy covered and hers are enchilados. So there was room for both of us to actually to be able to, like, again, share different platforms, but she just didn't want to, I guess. And now with everything that has come out, it makes sense, you know, because she is a selfish person, she is a greedy person, and she's proven it to me time after time. And like, I know that she didn't owe me any loyalty, but I had never heard of anything like this. Like, I'm not like a social media pro or anything like that, and perhaps I could be wrong, but I've never heard of other brands from the same category stop other brands from sending their products to others. Maybe not promoting them, I guess, but just let me, you know, just send them out, I guess. And because you guys always see beauty influencers post different eyeliners from other, you know, different makeup brands, and I feel like that was the same thing with us. So why did it have to be different? Like, you guys see again, makeup brands, jewelry brands, fashion brands, and all types of brands send their things to influencers. So it's like, why when it came to my category, why did things have to be different? So that was my frustration at that time. But anyway, when I expressed the situation to one of my attorney friends, and I was like, I was like, girl, like, isn't there something that protects, isn't there like something, I was like, first of all, is this even legal? Like, I'm pretty sure there are like unfair competition laws in place. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why does it have to be like that, you know? And then, because, you know, my best friend is my best friend, she was like, she's like, look, Sheila, like, you're not going to be able to do anything about it because there was no contracts in place. And I'm like, okay, right. And she's like, and first of all, she was like, no, sorry, she was like, and second of all, why would you want to work with people who, whether they know you exist or not, and especially if they know you exist, why would you want to work with people who are willing to sign those contracts? And I was like, damn, girl, like, I was like, you're right. I was like, you're right. I was like, those are not my type of people. So I let it go, and I was like, I'm gonna move forward, and I try not to take it personal, but I didn't know that this was gonna be the beginning of other things. So obviously by that time, I felt like everyone was gonna be like under contract. I was like even so I was so discouraged, and I was even embarrassed to be like, to ask people like, hey, are you able to work with us? And I just didn't even bother to ask, to be honest. And for me, I was just kind of like, I know this is so wrong. I know that this is a very unfair advantage to my brand. And if Pika Pika would have came out with chamoy before me, then I understand why Amanda would do something like that. But because she knew, again, she knew we existed, and she didn't want us to, for some reason, she didn't want us to succeed. That's pretty much, the truth. She did not want us to succeed. She did not want us to take away what she felt belonged to her, even though she had not been the one to come out with Chamoy first. And, I'm not the one who came out with Chamoy first, but we were the first brand to get a lot of exposure from different influencers. So anyway, so this little situation may sound childish, but anyway, there was a photo shoot that Pika Pika had with influencers, and I remember, like, the chismosa was like, oh, like, I want to see, like, of course like, all y'all nosy too, but anyway, I wanted to go to her page to see like what was going on. And I remember that when I went on her page, she had hid us from her stories, and she had removed us from following her. So I was like, girl, first of all, I should be the one blocking you, because you're the one that is doing all this weird shit to us and who keeps copying everything that we do. But I had no idea she had removed us from following her, because again, like, I wasn't paying attention to her life like that. And anyway, so I know that she had gotten the idea of putting influencers on her page because she saw my collaboration with Lavid. And my collaboration with Lavid was like in September of 2020, and I think she had the photo shoot like a few months later. And I'm pretty sure, I'm sure we inspired her. So during this photo shoot, I noticed that the influencer that was promoting our chamoy, I noticed that they were taking pictures of her with Pica Pica's chamoy. I was upset because we had a verbal agreement that this influencer was not going to promote their chamoy. And again, I had not stopped this influencer for promoting it, but I took their word for it, right? I took their word that they said, this person prefers yours and they're not going to promote that one. So then I was like, okay. And they were like, we're going to give you like full exclusivity. And so I didn't see the need to put that in a contract. But after seeing that, I was like, first of all, like, what type of exclusivity is that? And I was honestly hoping that management would notice this and that they would take care of it before any pictures would come out. But nothing was done, and the photos were posted. And I feel like I had every right to feel disrespected. Of course, since we were the underdogs, I don't think anybody, cared to give us the respect that we deserved, because again, Amanda thought that she was going to get away with doing these things. And during this time, even after those pictures were posted, I didn't say anything, and I said, I'm gonna let it go. Because trust me, like, it's been so hard for me to, like, I'm like holding back, right? Because I'm over here like, oh my God, like, this girl is just doing too much. And it started to feel personal, because I was still hanging out with that influencer that she wanted to hang out with. Him and I were still partying together, but she swears like I was trying to, and I mean, he could tell you too, like, I've never told him like, hey, I want to hang out with you and your friends. Like, I've never been that way. And I'm sure, I mean, I'm not going to ask him to come on here and say it, but it's like, but that person knows that. Anyway, so I let it go because I want to choose peace. But then I remember in July of last year, what year is that? 2021? July of 2021, someone sends me a screenshot of an Instagram story ad that Pika Pika had posted promoting their chamoy bundle. And guess what? They put the picture of the influencer that we were working with. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, there she goes again. And this time around, I did decide, like, you know what? We have to say something, because these things are not okay. Like, these things are not okay. She's doing everything to confuse the consumer. She's doing things to perhaps piss me off, because at that point, she knew who I was. Girl knows who I was. And anyway, obviously, she's doing it because she wants to confuse the consumer. And I know that these things are like normal, I guess, in business, but I was like, girl, like, where are your business ethics? Like, And honestly, at this point, I don't think she has any. I think she is, you know, she's just trying to get everything, and she doesn't care who she hurts in the process of getting to the top. She does not care who she hurts. Las greñas, las greñas. Ay. Anyway, so we spoke to management. We told them that this wasn't okay, that it wasn't okay for Pika Pika to keep doing this, because we had actually mentioned the photo shoot, and we're like, why didn't you guys do anything about that when it was happening? And I was like, and not only that, Homegirl took so many pictures of other influencers. Why couldn't she use the face of any other influencer to promote her chamoy bundles? She had to, a huevo, use that person that we were working with, and it was just so annoying. We told them that, you know, she was confusing the consumer, that we could have potentially that our business revenue would suffer, because at that point it's kind of like I wasn't paying attention to what they were posting, right? But it's like, oh my god, like who knows how many other times they've been doing that, and who knows how many, like what else they've been doing. And I remember they got in contact with Amanda, and according to them, she was so apologetic that she was like, oh, you know, I overlooked it, one of my team members doesn't know, and but she said that she was going to fix it, that she was going to remove the ad, that she was going to remove anything of this person with their face on from their Instagram page and from their website. And I know her apology was bullshit, because she knew exactly what she was doing. And I know she only removed the ad, but she still did not make the changes to the website. And by now, obviously, by this point, I'm like, this is no longer like no friendly competition. This is for sure like personal attacks to me and my business. And while the other day when I was collecting evidence, the day that they were supposedly canceled, I went on their website to screenshot the photo that she never removed. And it's funny that the next day after they had been canceled, when it came out that she had done us dirty, she finally decided to change it. Like, girl, how hard was it for you to change it when you were supposed to? How hard was it for you to make these changes? But then again, she knows that I was going to talk about that, so she removed it. But little did she know that I have screenshots of that. And to be honest, because it involves pictures of people, I'm not going to share them. I'm not going to post them as receipts, because I owe respect to those people. But it's like, girl, like, why was it so hard for you to make these changes when you were supposed to? Like, now all of a sudden, because you know that you're in hot water, you want to make these changes. And you know, like, management did everything they could to help us, to, you know, mediate the situation. But of course, like, they didn't know that Amanda had, you know, her personal agenda. Like, she did not, I wasn't gonna go tell them, like, you know, please, this person is actually doing this because I don't know if she hates me or something. But and I wasn't gonna tell them because, you know, I'm trying to be as professional as I can, because God knows I can be ghetto. But I was like, oh, like, I'm trying to be as professional as possible, because this is my brand. And you guys know, like I said, like, Cheilitas has saved my life, so I'm not gonna do anything to risk ruining my brand's image. Of course, me talking about this, people are like, you know, just make sure you keep it professional. And it's like, of course, like, I have no reason to not be professional, even though sometimes, you know, I get a little, like, so many times I was like, man, like, this girl, oh my god. Anyway, so, you know, I'm thankful that management has always tried to, you know, mediate the situation, but it was just, she just kept doing it. Like, she did not give a damn. And I don't know why she thought it was okay for her to keep trying to confuse, like, this person's platform into thinking that we were affiliated, because first of all, we were not affiliated. A lot of people thought we were, and it's like, no, we're not. We are not affiliated. And at that point, I just didn't think, like, I'm like, why does she keep doing these things? Like, could she really be that greedy? Like, and for such a long time, I wanted to not believe that she's like that. Excuse me. But it's so hard not to believe that she is a greedy person. And it's just, I know for a fact that she also felt threatened by our business potential, because from this point on, like, she has copied our entire business concept. And don't get me wrong, like, I love everything she's done with her marketing. I've never even said anything bad about the brand, even though, of course, she's done everything possible to get in the way of my success. But I've always loved her brand. I've never said anything bad about it. I've always been like, damn, like, she's doing so good, you know what I mean? But it's like you're doing so good, you're doing an amazing job, but your intentions behind everything are just not right. That was my frustration too, where it's like, if this was, girl, like, if you were going through something, like, if you really needed money that bad, like, there's different ways to go about it. But no, she's just a greedy person. And again, you guys know she just wants people's money, I guess. But anyway, it's been really annoying having to deal with her copying everything that we do, because I've been trying my hardest to separate myself. I've been trying my hardest to be different. And when we did the, back in May, when we did the Bad Bunny ticket giveaway, guess what? She did it too. And when we came out with our 5-ounce bottles, she had first came out with like these little tiny ones, but now, you know, she has the same bottles that we do. And I know that people copy others all the time. But you know, it's just frustrating to have someone watching everything that you're doing. And it got to a point where I felt so paranoid. I did not, de por sí, like, I never share what I'm doing or what I'm like working on. But even me just like saying it out loud, like, to like my team and something, like, it just felt so, I felt like I couldn't share much, honestly, because it was just getting to a point where I felt like she was using us as her chamoy business guide. And that was just so annoying to me, having to deal with all that stuff. And on top of dealing with all those things, I know for a fact that she was doing everything possible to take people from working with us. And it's just, it's so sad that people can be, again, that freaking greedy. And like the other day when that text message came out about she just wants, you know, the Naka's followers money, I'm like, that's the same way that she was trying to profit off of my ideas. And even after she made that video where she said like she didn't know anything about chamoy, well, fuck, at this point she does now, because you know, she's not dumb. She knows that that video, I could have used it against her, but she deleted it, of course, because she's not dumb. But I do have the proof that she tagged us and all that stuff. But anyway, back to the Naka stuff. I am curious to know who that person is, because honestly, like, why would you express that way of anybody that's supporting your brand? And of course, even if that wasn't about Cindy, like, still, like, no matter like how big or small a person's following is, they're still supporting your brand. So why even say bad things about anybody that's helping you? And because, you know, support is support, and you should never like underestimate the influence that a person has within their community, again, whether it's big or small. And so with all of this happening, everything that she was doing, I would always, you know, let it go, Sheila, let it go. I never wanted to go public about these things, because then people were going to say like, oh, you're just hating because, you know, she's more popular than you. But it's like, no, I'm not hating. I'm just, honestly, like, these things are not fair. And put yourselves in my shoes. If this was your business, if this was something that you have given your heart to start, and you've sacrificed hours of sleep, and so many things, of course it's going to bother you when someone comes and tries to like take it from you in a way, because that's exactly what she tried to do. And because of all these things, I've always tried to, again, separate myself and go on to other things and plan other ways to bring exposure to my brand. And like, you know, there's friendly competition. There's a lot of other chamoy brands that I follow, and I mean, you don't see me posting them, but I support them. Like, I cheer people on from far away. Like, I'm not like over here like, oh my god, you know, like, what are you up to? But it's like, you know, if I see something, like, I have no problem like giving somebody a like or a follow, you know. And again, like, friendly competition is normal, but this situation started to become so toxic for me and my business. And for me, like, when it comes to friends, family, men, and business relationships, like, I'd rather choose peace and distance over any type of disrespect. So that's why I kept quiet for such a long time, because I'm like, do I really want to give this my energy? And even right now, like, this whole situation like drains me. Like, I've been trying to do this video for such a long time. I've been practicing and practicing, but it's like, I'm just so tired. Like, I need to take a nap. This thing is just so exhausting for me, but I feel like I have to talk about it. Why? Because she didn't care how this was going to hurt my business, how this was going to hurt my family. And in a way, I'm speaking up for myself, for my family, and for the people who I'm sure have been victimized by this person, you know? Like, raise your hand if you've been victimized by Amanda Castillo, you know? And it's like, me, bitch. Like, it's just, it sucks that people like that exist, you know? And that people obviously praise them, thinking that they're, you know, so successful and so this and that, so this and, but it's like, you don't really know what's going on behind someone's mind, where it's like, you know, I'm like, just evil, you know? And anyway, so so I do want to add that before I made this video, I did not want to talk to anybody. I have not spoken to anybody, because this is my experience. I don't need anybody in my ear telling me like, oh, you know, this and this and that. Like, no, this is my experience. I lived through it. And but the other day, sorry for snapping my tongue. That's so annoying. So I didn't want to talk to anybody because I didn't want anybody in my ear. But then, like, you know, some people came forward, and these are people that have worked with Amanda, and they told me that in front of them and other people, that Amanda expressed with, you know, with a lot of passion, that she was waiting for the day that I went down, that she was waiting for the day that I fell on my face, that she was here for it. And that she had already taken influencer 1 and 2, and that she was going to take away influencer 3 and 4, right? And that every time that someone would work with me, that she would ask how much I was paying them, and that she would double it up just so they would leave me. And I'm like, girl, finding this out like made my stomach drop, and it gave me the chills. And I swear to God, I thought I was gonna get some choro or something, because I was like, I was just like, how can someone be this evil? Like, it's just crazy to me, you know. But I do believe that what they told me is true, because from one day to the next, some influencers stopped promoting me, and hold on. So yeah, I do believe that this was true, because from one day to the next, some influencers stopped promoting me, and I'm not saying all, just some, like, you know, like less than a handful. And even though I would send them commission, like, they would just stop posting me. And I was like, you know what, like, if you're not gonna be even showing me love in any way, like, I'm just gonna stop commission, you know. Like, why would I go out of my way to be paying someone commission if they're not even showing me any support? So anyway, and I do want to apologize to the people who right now haven't received commission, because I know that there's still people who have been supporting me, and that still show me love to this day. But because of everything that's happened throughout this whole year, it's been so exhausting for me. And like, for personal and like business reasons, like, I took a break from the influencer world, from trying to work with other people. And like, don't get me wrong, you know, like, I have to put myself first, because I've been through so much shit in my life, that, and even more ever since like 2018. That was like the year that really, you know, opened my eyes to realizing that I needed to do something for myself and for my family, because at the end of the day, like if I lose this business, no one's gonna help me. Like, no, I can't. I have nobody to fall back on. No one's gonna come and save my business for me. Like, I have to figure it out. I have to be the one to see what's next, you know. And having to deal with all these things, it caused like so much. I was just so emotional, and I was like, and it affected me like psychologically too. And like, I have my daughter, like she does not deserve to see me like this, because there were times when I was just so stressed out, and I'm like, oh, like I need to finish this work, because I need to like start you know, promoting my chamoy in different areas, because for me, like I felt like she had closed all those doors for me. And if it's true that she was telling people that she was going to pay them more, it was like, girl, like it's going to get to a point where I'm overpaying people. And at the end of the day, like I'm not going to be paying people to be my friend. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want to support me, if what I give you is not enough, like you are more than you are your own person. You can make the decision to go. I'm not going to do anything to stop you. I'm not going to beg for you to keep working with me. Like, go. If that's what's best for you, go, you know? And because of all of this, like, I have to figure it out. And I have a team that depends on on all the orders that come in. There's people who take care of their families, and for me, like it's important to take care of the people that help me. So to have someone try and come and take those things away, like of course it's gonna hurt me. And so because of that, for the same reason, now we're on Amazon. Of course, when I posted that we're on Amazon, I wasn't gonna be like, because you know people are over here closing my doors for me and stuff. Like, no, like I've always wanted to be on Amazon. So, and now we're finally on Amazon. And like, no matter what happens, like I'm never going to give up on my brand. And it may take me a little longer, but that's okay, you know, because at the end of the day, I am my own competition. This whole situation, I feel like, I wonder if any other brand has experienced this with another brand, because it is so draining to deal with things like that. And if I'm wrong, I guess, you know, I guess I'm wrong. And so yeah, those were the things that were happening, and I'm pretty sure other things were happening that I'm not aware of. But anytime she did those things, I try to forgive and forget and let go and focus on myself. But she just kept going at it. Like it just became like, I feel like I became her. I don't know. Like I don't want to say she was obsessed with me, but I mean, girl is a little crazy. And anyway, so anyway, to my friends in business, I wish you guys all the best. Like, please let this be a lesson to all of you, that everything you put out in the world, it's gonna come back to you. Like, whether it's good or bad, it's gonna come back. And there is a thin line between ambition and greed. And you just always make sure that you are just doing this for the greater good, and because you're just, you know, an ambitious person, but never because of greed. Always do things like from the heart, because like, you know, I get that we all have to take care of our families, but just please be aware of the brands that you support. I'm sure not every brand owner is like this, but and I hope to God that it's not like that. But not everyone deserves your hard-earned money. Like I've worked a 9-to-5 before. I used to be like, oh my God, it's gonna take me 3 hours to buy this, 3 hours of work to buy this, you know? So I know what it's like to not be able to buy things that you want all the time. Like, I know what it's like. And like throughout all my life experiences, like the biggest lesson for me is that no matter like how much you lose, God will never leave you empty. And oh my God, I don't want to get emotional, but it's like I've tried to I've tried my hardest to stay positive no matter what goes on in my life. Even when someone like does me wrong, like I try not to, wish. I don't think I've ever wished anybody bad, even if they do me wrong. Like I don't wish bad upon anybody. If anything, I'm the one to be like, I hope that my haters are doing good. Why? Because if they're doing good, they're not focused on my life. And because I don't need people to be like looking at me with like evil eye and stuff like that. Um, I am at peace because I'm not the one who put Amanda in that situation. She did this to herself because she's evil and greedy by nature. And this finally caught up to her. Like, while she was praying for my and manifesting my downfall, like, I was praying to God and begging Him to give me the courage to keep going and to keep me strong, because you guys have no idea, like, how I've been feeling this whole past year, where it's like, oh my gosh, God, is this really for me? Like, and then I'm like, no, like, he knows why I'm doing these things. He knows that I did this with nothing but good intentions. So I'm like, so why is someone trying to come and take these things from me like that, And as I'm begging God to give me the courage, I know for a fact, I'm not religious or anything like that, but I know for a fact that right now we're living in a world that is ruled by the devil. I swear to God. But at the end of the day, the good will always win. And I do hope that she takes this as a learning lesson, and that this humbles her, because she does need some humbling experiences in her life. When I was her age, I had gone through that situation with my dad and with Betty dying, and that really changed my perspective in life, I guess. But even before that, I've never been shady like that. So, and she mentioned that people are kicking her while she's down, and it's like, girl, like, I'm the type of person to pick you up when you're down. And it took so much for me to talk, because I didn't want to add any more damage. But I thought about everything that she did, and I'm sure that many times she laughed at me, and I'm sure every single time that she won, that she thought she won, she was like, oh, like, it's just one step closer to bringing her down. And I really do pray for her heart. I swear, like, I've been talking to people about the situation, and it's like, damn, like, I feel bad for her. Like, I feel bad that people are attacking her business, that people are attacking her. But at the end, yes, she did it to herself. And in this life, you guys, like, you can't get in the way of the plan that God has for people. You can try to manifest and be evil about things, and guess what? Again, the devil's gonna like help you out for a little bit, but he's gonna leave you on your own when you're down, like when you're down and feeling that, because I'm sure right now she's feeling it, And I just want to like thank everyone who's been so supportive, all my friends, my family, my customers, and the influencers that support us. Like, thank you for sticking around. It's only gonna get better. I've met a lot of great people last year. I feel like those people gave me a lot of hope. You guys have no idea the people that I've met. It's crazy. It's crazy how God puts people in your life that you have no idea are gonna be somehow in some way helping you. And I don't sell dulces enchilados. We of course want to expand our candy selection, our chamoy candy selection, and stay tuned for that. But if you guys you guys should obviously look for people that are local. I've come across a lot of candy companies who are out there. In Orange County, there's this little boy. His name is Nathan, and he plays soccer, right? And his thing is his Instagram is Nathan's Dulces Enchilados, and they caught my attention because every time like something happens, they are raising money for people that are in need in some way, and they donate a percentage of their sales. Like, see, like those are the people that I want to support, the people that are actually doing things to help others. And I think it's amazing that his mom helps him, and that his mom is raising him to be that way, because you know, when he's older, he's gonna be a good man, you know. And the other day I did see, I was on TikTok because I've been spending a lot of time on TikTok. I saw Chamoy Queen's story. I and obviously it's just so inspirational to see that we're all human. We're all gonna go through a lot of things in life. And anyway, she actually sells a lot of candies too, and you can find them. I'm pretty sure you can find them on Instagram. And and then another thing, like I'm so glad right now that Culichi Munchies is actually able to expand their platform too, because it's almost like if, for example, Culichi Munchies, like it's almost like if I saw them growing and I'm like, no, like I do not want them to take my place, and I did anything to stop them, like that's messed up, you know. Like I would never do that to anybody, and I hope that nobody has ever gotten the vibe of me being like that, because anything that God has given me during this entire time, I've tried my hardest to be generous, to give to people that I know need it. And I know that there's people out there that can vouch for me that I don't have to be showing off anything on social media, you know. Like the only thing I'm gonna be showing off is my food, you know, my live music, and what else? And you know, my selfies. Like that's all that I want, that I share out there. When it comes to like my personal life and the things that I go through, of course, this is like the only time that you guys are actually gonna hear about my business, but that's because I had to speak up, you know. I had to speak up. I've been praying to God to give me the courage to speak up about this, and finally here, and God, I gotta upload this thing because you guys have been waiting. And also shout out to my chamoy friends that are out there also selling chamoy. To my chamoy friends that are out there selling chamoy too, that have also been following my journey and supporting me. Shout out to Spicy Mike's. He's from Oceanside, and he's always I feel like even though like we're not buying each other's stuff, even though I've been asking him for chamoy but he don't want to send it to me, like even though we're both selling the same things, I feel like there's room for everyone. As Latinos, we should always be supporting each other and not bringing each other down, especially as Latinas. Like a Latina should never have to want to take away from another Latina, because guess what, girl? Like we're all trying to make it in this world. Like we should not be tearing each other down. And man, I remember there's like one brand. I don't want to say their name because I don't want people to know that I helped them with their chamoy, but my michelada plug, he when he was trying to make his chamoy, I was like, here, add this so it could be better, you know. And thanks to that, he's been selling his chamoy in liquor stores, and that was before I actually started my business. And that's actually, I mean, what motivated me too. Like, you know what, like he's doing good, so I should come out with my other flavors too, you know. And other people have reached out to me and they're like, hey, you're my inspiration, and I've been wanting to start my chamoy business. Where do you go buy your fruit and stuff? And when it's things like that, like I'm like, girl, I go here. They're like what machine do you use to blend and stuff? I'm like, I use this. Like I have no problem sharing the things that have helped me in my business. But of course, like when it comes to like, you know, how do you that I'm gonna give you the tools, but now it's up to you to go make your money, you know. But anyway, I hope that nobody ever experiences what I had to experience, because I'm sure that, I don't know what, like now that everything has come out, I feel like she's done this to other brands too. And it's pretty sad because I'm sure a lot of people looked up to you, Amanda. A lot of people, even me at some point, I'm like, damn, like her shit's popping, you know, like but the moment you started to attack me and my business, like that's when it became personal for me. And I tried my best not to throw this out on social media. And you know that I could have came out with this stuff a long time ago, but I chose not to. And in a way, this whole situation gives me closure. I don't want to have to talk about it, even though of course she made herself part of my story, because it's hard not to talk about this when someone asks me, like, you know, like, what are some of the challenges you faced when, you know, because I know for a fact that God is going to continue blessing me. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm not going to give up. And you made yourself part of my story. So guess what, girl? Like, like I want that thing. And as for me personally, like I'm just gonna continue living my life with the people that love me and support me. And I don't know what else I could say, honestly, but thanks for watching, honestly. If you came this far, thanks for watching. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.